Matt Lenihan, Boxing Social in association with Empire Fight Store and our Kings. We're here, the voice of boxing, Adam Smith. Adam, look, we're here. We've been waiting an awful long time for this fight week, but we are here. This happened before, remember? Grand arrivals, people turned up, but hopefully we see a fight this weekend.
We will. 35 years since the dads met on that autumnal night in Birmingham. Then the rematch at Old Trafford. I think Ben Shalom was either born 2 weeks before or 2 weeks afterwards, I can't remember, but very, very close to the actual fight night. The Ben family have never had a win over the Eubanks. That's, I think, what's driving Conor through everything, through the training camp he's done. But Chris is the bigger guy. Chris has the experience at the higher level. There are many imponderables, though. He's older. He was stopped by Liam Smith. What's Conor going to be like at the weight? What's going to unfold on fight night at Tottenham in the cold outdoors of an April evening? It's a really, really fascinating one. And for me, boxing's about stories, and there's no better one than this. And that's why the casuals are going to absolutely come out in their droves for this fight.
Can I just ask you, in terms of pressure, there's pressure on both fighters. Is there more so a pressure on Chris due to the fact that the people are talking about this fight going, well, look, you are the naturally bigger man. You are fighting at 160. Although he can only go up 10 pounds, you have the advantage. It'd be more of a, heavier loss for him than it would be for Conor, who's the smaller man coming up. Do you agree with that?
You and I are around boxing 24/7, okay? The casual fans, 90% of the people that are going to be tuning into this fight will not care about the weight or what's happened before. It's all about Eubank or Ben, Ben or Eubank. Do you like this guy? Do you like this guy? Is it the way that Eubank portrays himself? Is it the way that Ben portrays himself? That's what's going to get everybody watching on Saturday night. Yes, I think Chris is the favourite, therefore the pressure probably is a little bit more on his shoulders. However, and they'll take the pressure off Conor by saying he's not expected to win, he's going up in weight and all of that. But I think Conor's put enormous pressure on himself as well, because I think it's meant something to him for so long, him and Nigel. The fact that they've never got a victory over the Eubanks, I think this is their moment. And I think, they've both got enormous amounts of tension on there. And I think the trainers, Jonathan Banks and Tony Sims, have got really important roles on the night to keep them cool, keep them coiled, keep them maybe tactically acute, as well as just fighting on emotions.
I've got to ask you, obviously Nigel Benn has been beside Conor the whole camp. They're like father and son, but they are like best friends. Is it a bit of a dampener that we don't have Chris Sr. involved in some capacity, because we know the character he brings, but it almost seems a shame when you see one side, and look, it is something bigger than boxing, that. Let's just have it right, it's bigger than a boxing match, but is it a bit sad that we don't see him here this week?
Chris Eubank Sr. was one of my heroes as a teenager. I loved him. Then I got to work with him and Nigel towards the end of their careers, and actually then really sort of fell in love with Nigel because he's such a great guy. But I do think it's sad that the four of them are not all together and embracing this. However, the most important thing is the father-son relationship between the Eubanks. They've had family tragedy, losing, the lovely Sebastian, and all I want is to make, all I hope for is that Chris Sr. and Junior are good. That's all I hope for. And the fact that he's not around and Nigel is. Senior was around a lot of Junior's career, and some say maybe too much, and Nigel took a step back. Now Nigel's right there. We'd love it from a storytelling point of view for Senior to ride in on his Harley Davidson. However, I don't think he will after what he said. I think he'll stay away, and I just hope that the Eubanks will sort that out. But Junior is a very laser sharp, laser focused individual and athlete, and he won't let emotions get the better of him. He will just concentrate on what he needs to do, business on the night.
The last time Chris Eubank Sr. said, look, this fight won't happen, and he's doubled down on it and said, I don't believe this fight will happen even now. And you're thinking, all the boxes have been ticked as far as we know. I know we didn't know last time, but why do you think he's saying that? Is he saying that more in hope because of his beliefs and how he carries himself, that he doesn't agree with the fight because of the weight? He's seen a lot of tragedy in boxing, he's been a part of it. We saw him with Michael Watson on that walk. Do you think he's saying that more in hope rather than no?
I'm not sure. Ultimately, you've got to ask him that. As you said, he has been through a huge amount in boxing. Michael Watson's an amazing character, a wonderful man, and holds no grudges, no resentment against Chris in many ways. He loves him today, and Michael's phenomenal because of that. But it's a dangerous sport, and I think sometimes at the end of Chris Senior's career, he probably thought that he didn't go for that knockout at times. I remember him trying to get Roy Francis in when he was fighting Henry Wharton to stop it, and it's difficult to work out what he's thinking. I think he just wants the health and safety of the fighters and his son. Maybe he doesn't agree with the fight because of the weight. Ultimately, that's something you've got to ask him. As far as I'm concerned, this is fight week. Anything can happen on fight week. We're going to have twists and turns, but the fight's going to happen on Saturday night. I'm pretty sure about that.
I want to ask you, I'm hearing that Usyk and Dubois is getting close to being announced. There's a lot of fights happening on this suspected date. I'm hoping it's going to be moved because I don't want to be picking and choosing where we're all going. But this time around, I've got to ask you, we saw how the first fight went. Do you give Daniel Dubois, with the run he's on now, a higher percentage chance against Usyk going into a rematch, considering everything he's been through, the adversities, the training with Don Charles? Is this now his chance to potentially conquer the king in the heavyweight division?
I think you could say there's a better chance for both of them because they're on such form. Usyk, the king, pound for pound, dealing with AJ a couple of times, dealing with Fury a couple of times, and dealing with Daniel Dubois, albeit the controversy of the potential low blow or body shot. He won the fight. But Daniel Dubois is on a huge roll, wonderful momentum, fantastic against Miller, fantastic against Hrgovic, unbelievable against AJ. So, of course, you're going to say Daniel Dubois has got a bigger chance because of that, but Usyk is the man to be beaten still. I think the one thing that slightly worries me about Daniel Dubois is he didn't fight in February. I think if he'd had that sort of, whether he would have beaten Parker, who knows, but if he'd had that fight, as in got ring action and kept going, I think it's going to be a long time between September and July for him to be out, and that's the only thing that I worry slightly about. But Dubois will be in unbelievable shape. He'll have huge confidence under Don Charles. The trouble is, Alexander Usyk is brilliant in rematches, and he's the best fighter in the world. That's a problem.
And your friend Anthony Joshua, someone you've known for years, you were a big part of this sort of rise on Sky Sports before obviously moved to the Zone. We need to see him back now, don't we? I know he's had the injury, but I'm hearing he's close to resuming full training. Who do you want to see with next? Joseph Parker lingering, but what do you want to see?
You know what I want to see? I want to see Fury and Joshua.
Tired.
He's retired. Tyson Fury's kept himself in brilliant shape. It's fantastic that he's doing UNICEF and Soccer Aid. That's absolutely brilliant. Well done, Tyson. After that, dust yourself down over the summer, have a nice little break, and let's get it on. Come on. We've got Eubank Ben. We want Fury Joshua for the casuals. The British sporting public need that fight. That's the fight I want to see. No other fight.
Adam Smith, appreciate it.